साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, where did we leave? I think we did up to 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What comes after this? 4 to 6 is taken together, so this may complete text 6 and I'll come back. 6. युधामन्युश्च विक्रांत उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान् सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्व एव महारथाः. युद्धामन्युः च विक्रान्तः उत्तमौजाः च वीर्यवान् सौभद्रः द्रौपदेयाः च सर्वे एव महारथाः. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Yudheti, Vikranteti, Yudhamanyu, Vikranta, mighty, refers to Yudhamanyu. Viryavan, iti, Uttamaujasaha cha, iti Visheshana. Viryavan, very powerful, refers to Uttamauja. Saubhadraha Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra is Abhimanyu. Draupadeyaha, the sons of Draupadi. Yudhishthira Adibhyaha, Panchabhyaha, Kramat, Draupadyam Jataha, Prativindha, Shrutasena, Shrutakirti, Shatanika, Shrutakarma Akhyaha, Panchaputraha. The 5 sons of Draupadi are the ones who were born from Yudhishthir and the others, from her 5 husbands, headed by Yudhishthir. And the sons are, respectively, Prativindha, Shrutasena, Shrutakirti, Shatanika, Shrutakarma. Her 5 sons. Cha Shabdat, Anye cha Ghatotkacha Adayaha. Cha can also mean, and so on, etc. So, that includes Ghatotkacha. That refers to other sons of the Pandavas, such as Ghatotkacha. Pandavaha tu ativikhyatatvat na ganitaha. The Pandavas are not counted, are not enlisted here because they are too famous. Ye ete saptadasha ganitaha, ye cha anye tatpakshiyaha, te sarve maharathaha eva. The 17 that have been enlisted here, as well as others on the side of the Pandavas, all of them are Maharathas, great chariot fighters. Maharatha itself is a technical expression. Ati Atirathasya api upalakshanam. Here Maharatha includes Atirathas and other grades of warriors. Talakshanam choktam. Their definitions have been presented. Ekadasha sahasrani yothayedyastu dhanvinam shastra pravinascha Maharatha iti smrita. A Maharatha is one. Sometimes it reads Ekadasha, sometimes it reads Ekodasha. Anyway, I'll take Ekadasha as a reading here. A Maharatha is considered to be one can fight with 11,000 archers at the same time, and who is expert in weapons and in this Dhanurveda Shastra, the scripture that teaches one the science of archery and fighting. Amitan yodhiyadyastu sampraktoti rathastu sah. One who can fight with an immeasurable number of warriors is declared to be an Atiratha. Rathi cha ekena yo yodha. A Rathi is one who can fight with one opponent. Then Nyunordha Rathasmritaha. And one lower than him is called, it's referred to as an Ardharatha. Iti. This is all from Mahabharata. Okay, 6 minutes. What happened? सेनानिचयेर मध्ये महेश्वास भीमार्जुन और तत् समकक्ष be उपस्थित. In this arrangement, within these armies, there are all of these heroes who are, and there are these mighty bowmen, Bhima and Arjuna, and those equal to them, heroes equal to them. Yudhan, or Satyaki, Yudhan is Satyaki. Virat and Maharatha Drupada. Virat, O Maharatha Drupad, Drishtaketu, Shekitana, Viryavan Kashiraj, the heroic Kashiraj, Purujit, Kuntimhoj, O Narasheshta Shaibya, and Shaibya was the best among human beings. Balavan Yudhamanyu, the powerful Yudhamanyu, Veer, Uttamauja, the hero, Uttamaujas, Uttamauja, Subhadra Putra Abhimanyu, son of Subhadra, O Draupadi, Garbhajata Panchaputra, the 5 sons born from the womb of Draupadi, Ihara Sapale Maharath, all of them are Maharathas. 7. Asmakam tu vishishtaye tan nibodhan dvijoktama nayaka mama sainyasya sanyarsam tan bravimi te. Asmakam tu vishishtaha ye tan nibodha dvija uttama nayakaha mama sainyasya sankyartham tan bravimi te. But for your information, O rest of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Tarhi kim Pandava Sainyat Bhitaha Asi iti Acharya Bhavam Sambhavya. And then Duryodhana considers that Dronacharya might be thinking, so you're frightened of the army of the Pandavas? Antarjatam api bhitim acharayan. He hides the fear that has arisen in his heart. Dharshyena aha. And with impudence, he speaks this. In warfield, generally the Kshatriyas, they're like, they say something outrageous that they say. Asmakam iti. Asmakam sarvesham madhye ye vishishtaha param utkrishtaha buddhi adi balashalinaha nayakaha netaraha tan sangyartham samyak jnanartham bravimi. I will now talk about power amongst all of us. Those who are distinguished captains, distinguished leaders. They are distinguished, meaning that they are excellent, very excellent. They are very powerful in terms of their intelligence and so on. So I'll talk about them to just for the sake of completeness, just to provide complete information about them. Pandava premna tvam chet no yotsyase. If out of love for the Pandavas, you don't fight on my behalf, tadapi, even then, Bhishmadavihi mat vijaya seksyateva. My victory is going to be accomplished through Bhishma and the others. It will certainly be accomplished through Bhishma and the others. Iti tat kopa utpadanam dyotyam. So it can be understood here that there's a hint of Duryodhana's trying to kindle Dronacharya's anger. Hey Guru, ও টিচার, আমাদের যে সমস্ত সেনানায়ক আছেন আপনার জ্ঞানার্থ তাহাদের নাম কীর্তন করিতেছি. Let me mention the names of all of the leaders of our armies, just for your information. 8. भवान् भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च कृपश्च समितिञ्जयः अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च सौमदत्तिस्तथैव च. भवान् भीष्म च कर्णः च कृपः च समितिञ्जयः अश्वत्थामा विकर्णः च सौमदत्तिः तथा एव च. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Tanaha, Bhavaniti. Now this goes up to 9. So let me wait till 9. Here also it goes up to 9. Right. 8 and 9, I'll read together. 9. अन्ये च बहवः शूरा मदर्थे त्यक्तजीविताः नानाशस्त्रप्रहरणाः सर्वे युद्धविशारदाः. अन्ये च बहवः शूराः मदर्थे त्यक्तजीविताः नानाशस्त्रप्रहरणाः सर्वे युद्धविशारदाः. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. Anaha, no, he gives a list. He mentions them by name. Bhavan iti. Bhavan, Drona. Your grace, Drona. Vikarna, Madbhrata Kanishtaha, my younger brother, Vikarna. Somadatti, Bhurishrava. Somadatti is Bhurishrava. Samitinjaya, Sangrama Vijayi iti. Drona Adi Nam Saptanam Visheshanam. The word Samitinjaya that comes here means one who wins over a war, a winner of the war. And that refers to the 7 personalities beginning with Drona. Nano etavanta eva mat sainye vishishtaha किन्तु असंख्येयाः सन्ति इत्याह. These are the ones who are distinguished in my army. But I think there's a typing mistake here. It must be in Natu. Etavanta eva mat sainye vishishtaha. It's not that these are the only ones who are distinguished, but I have innumerable warriors supporting me. Ityaha. With this in mind, he speaks. Anyecha. The text beginning Anyecha. Bahavaha. Jayadratha. Kritavarma. Shalya. Prabhutayaha. Many. Such as Jayadratha. Kritavarma. Shalya. Jaktityadi karmani nishtha. That's the grammatical note. Jivitani tyaktum krita nishchayaha. Ityarthaha. Tyakta jivitaha. They have decided that they will give up their lives This is the meaning. Itham cha tesham sarvesham mayi sneha atireka shaurya atireka yuddha pandityacha mad vijayaha siddhyedeva iti dyotyate. So in this way he is indicating here that in this manner uh, all of these persons, because they have great affection for me and because they have great heroism and because they are well versed in the art of warfare, my victory will certainly be accomplished. Ranavijayi Agni, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, or Somadantu, Putra, Bhurishrava. There are the winners of the war, such as yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and Somadatta's son Bhurishrava. And apart from these, Vivida Astra Shastra Sampanna, Annanna Bhavatar, Juddha Bisharad, Bir Purush, Amar Nimitta Prandite Uddata, Achan. Apart from these, there are others who are equipped with various kinds of um, weapons of different types. They are uh, different. There are different types of heroic persons who are well versed in warfare. For my sake, they are ready to give up their lives. Duryodhana mentions exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana. Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya. And Saumadatti or Bhurishrava is the son of the king of the Bahlikas. Karna is a half brother of Arjuna as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kritavarma, and Shalya, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhana. Tyakta Jivita, they have given up their lives for me. Of course, Duryodhana is speaking in an idiomatic, as an idiom. He's not saying it literally, that they have died. But somehow, by the arrangement of Mother Saraswati, he has spoken the truth. Not only are they ready to die, they are actually, they started the process of dying, actually. Duryodhana was, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above-mentioned combined strength of his friends. 10. Paryaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam. Paryaptam tvidametesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. Paryaptam tat asmakam balam bhishma abhirakshitam. Paryaptam tu idam etesham balam bhima abhirakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Anu evam upayoho sanyayoho taulyat tavayeva vijayah katham iti ashankya swasainyasya adhikyamaha paryaptam iti. Then he anticipates that Dronacharya would be thinking. Now, both the armies are equal. So how can you conclude that only you will win this war? So then Duryodhana talks about the superiority of his army. Aparyaptam. Aparyaptam. Aparimitam. Asmakam balam. Our military strength is unlimited. Tatrapi Bhishmena Mahabuddhimata Atirathena Abhirakshita. top of it, my army is carefully protected by Bhishma, who has great intelligence and who is an Atiratha. एतेषां पाण्डवानां बलं तु पर्याप्तं परिमितं, but the military strength of these Pandavas is limited. Tatrapi, and on top of it, Bhimena tuksha buddhina ardharathena avirakshitam. It is protected by Bhima, whose intelligence is insignificant and who's merely an ardharatha. Ataha siddha vijayoham. Therefore, my victory is proven. My victory is accomplished. Bhishma kartrik parirakshita amadige dalabal aparimita. The strength, our military strength, being carefully protected by Bhishma, is unlimited. Kintu, but Bhimasen Rakshita Pandavasena Parimita. But the Pandava army protected by Bhimasen is limited. Herein, an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general, Bhima, who's like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained. 11. Ayaneshu च सर्वेषु यथा भागमवस्थिताः भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्वे एव हि. अयनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागम् अवस्थिताः भीष्मम् एव अभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्वे एव हि. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. अथ एवं मद्युक्तिभावं विज्ञाय आचार्यः चेत् उदासीत. Now, having realized the import of my statement, if the Acharya, if Dronacharya becomes indifferent, tada mat karya kshatihi, then my mission will be lost, will be spoiled. Iti vibhavya. So thinking about that, having contemplated about that, tasmin swakarya bharamadpayam. He then gives the responsibility for winning this war to Dronacharya. And he speaks the current verse, Ayaneshu iti. Ayaneshu sainya pravesha varthmasu yatha bhagam vipaktam swam swam yuddha bhumim aparityajya avasthitaha bhavantaha bhavat adayaha bhishmam eva abhitaha rakshantu. All of you are stationed in particular spots. You have been distributed, you've been divided, and you've all been placed in particular places that are strategic points of entrance into the army to fight. So without giving up those specific spots in the war, all of you beginning with yourself, Krona. You should carefully protect Bhishma. Yuddha abhiniveshat parshvatah prishtatah cha apashyantam tam yatha anyah na vihanyat tatha kurvantu. Ityartha. When he is absorbed in the fight, then he would not notice those who are on the sides or those who are behind him. I mean, Bhishma's opponents behind him or in his or by his sides, and just ensure that nobody else, meaning the opponents, don't attack him, kill him. Senapato Bhishme nirbadhe mad vijay siddhi iti bhava. As long as Bhishma is not obstructed in any manner, because Bhishma is my Senapati, is not obstructed, then my victory is accomplished. This is the implication. I am Ashaya. This is what he has in his mind, what he wants to convey. Bhishma asmakam pitamaha. Bhishma is our grandfather. Bhavamstu guruhu. You are our guru. So yuvam asmad ekanta hiteishino viditau. It is very well known that both of you are extreme well-wishers. Yav akshasadasi mad anyayam vidantau api Raupadya nyayam prishtau na avochatam. And you are the ones who, in the assembly of gambling, when Draupadi had asked both of you about what is righteous, even though both of you knew that what I was doing was not righteous, you did not speak anything. Maya tu pandaveshu pratitam sneha abhasam tyajayatum tatha niveditam. I am simply submitting this information to you just to make you give up the semblance of affection that is visible in you towards the Pandavas. এখানে আপনারা সকলে স্ব বিভাগ অনুসারে ব্যূহ দ্বারে অবস্থান পূর্বক ভীষ্মকে রক্ষা করুন. Right now, all of you situating yourself in the gateways to the vyuha, to the military formation, in accordance with your divisions, protect Bhishma. Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Dev was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Dev. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya in the battle, because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice, while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during the gambling performances. Well, tasya sanjanayan narsham puruvriddha pitamaha simhanadam vinadyochai shankam dathmau pratapavam tasya sanjanayan harsham puruvriddha pitamaha Simhanadam vinadya uchaihi shankham dadmau pratapavan. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. एवं दुर्योधन कृताम स्वस्तुतिम अवधार्य सहर्षः भीमः तद अंतर्जाताम भीतिम. Okay, wait 1 minute. Just one adjustment. This. Okay. एवं दुर्योधन कृताम स्वस्तुतिम अवधार्य सहर्षः भीमः तद अंतर्जातां भीतिम उत्सादयितुं शंखं दद्मौ इत्याह तस्य इति. So having understood Duryodhana's glorification of himself, Bhishma, in great joy, he blew his conch shell in order to remove uh, the fear that was inside, that had appeared within the heart of Duryodhana. Tasya iti. Simhanadam iti upamane karmani cha iti panini sutran mold. That's the grammatical note. Chat kartari upamane ityarthaha. It's okay. That's another. Simha iva vinadya ityarthaha. Simhanadam means it implies that he produced a sound that resembled the roar of a lion. Mukhatah kinchit anuktva. Without speaking anything, Shankhan Nadam Matra Karanena, because he blew his conch shell. Jaya Parajayau Khalu Ishwaradhino Tvadarthe Kshatradharmena Deham Tyakshami iti vyajyate. It is evident that Bhishma, without speaking anything, he simply blew his conch shell. So from this it is understood that he was thinking, victory and loss are under the control of God. I will, on the basis of the duty, the dharma of Kshatriyas, for your sake, I will give up my body. अतः प्रबल प्रताप कुरुवृद्ध पितामह भीष्म दुर्योधनेर हर्ष उत्पादनेर जन्म उच्चैश्वरे शंखना पुरुष शंखध्वनि कोरिलेन. Then grandfather Bhishma, the senior most member of the Kurus, who was filled with great strength and valor, in order to make Duryodhana joyful, very loudly he blew his conch shell, which was like the roar of a lion. The grandsire of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana. It would be better if inner meaning or the heart of his grandson Duryodhana. And out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conscience, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But still, it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. This is Kshatriya Dharma. Okay, question. Achyutanam Prabhu.
Prabhu, uh, when Bhishmadev blew the conch to give Duryodhana joy, so that means he could hear what Duryodhana was saying to Dronacharya. He could understand what is going
Yeah.
on. So I am unable.
What?
I am unable to understand that in a war setting, like Duryodhan and Dronacharya on their own chariots, or they may be talking. So how come sound is going that far that Dronacharya is also able to hear?
These things come in Mahabharata. I don't know the setting of how they conducted their war and so on. But it is a fact that they often had different types of conversations and they're all recorded also. It's possible that Duryodhana might have, Drona and Bhishma might have been together. He's anyway addressing so many of the leaders, including Drona, that Bhishma should be protected and Bhishma could hear it. So they might have all been close by. These things come in Mahabharata, so I will not right now bother about it. Okay, 13. ततः शङ्खाश्च भैर्यश्च प्रणवानकगोमुखाः सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त स शब्दस्तुमलोऽभवत् ततः शङ्खाः च भैर्यः च प्रणव आनकगोमुखाः सहसा एव अभ्यहन्यन्त सः शब्दः तुमुलः अभवत्. After that, the conches, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. ततः इति सेनापतौ भीष्मे प्रवृत्ते तत्सैन्ये सहसा तत्क्षणमेव शङ्कादयः अभिहन्यन्त. Right. So when Bhishma, who was a senapati, he began. So then suddenly at that very moment, all these conches and others, they were all sounded. Karmakartari prayogaha. That's a grammatical note. Panava adayaha, trayaha, aditra veda, panavanaka gomukhaha. These are specific musical instruments. Sa shabdaha tu eka akarataya mahanasi. The sounds had merged and it was extremely loud. शंख भेरे प्रणव अर्थात मादल एवं आनक अर्थात पटह और गोमुख नामक वाद्य यंत्र सकल सहसा बाधित हইলে तुमुल शब्द उद्भूत हইল. शंख, shankhas, bheris, panagas meaning madals, anakas meaning patahas, as well as gomukhas. These are all different specific musical instruments. All of them were suddenly they were all played. At that time, the sound was tumultuous. Previously, at war times, they had these kind of they had all these kind of arrangements to frighten the opposition. This was going on even in other parts of the world, even in Europe and other places. The idea is not to kill, the idea was not to kill the opponent, but to subdue the opponent. That was the whole point. In today's world, through warfare, they immediately go about and kill. And they don't even kill the opponents, they kill civilians. Barbaric. 14. ततः श्वेते हयर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदध्मतुः ततः श्वेतैः हयैः युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवः च एव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदध्मतुः. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conches, blew their transcendental conches. अथ पाण्डवसैन्ये प्रवृत्तं युद्ध उत्सवम् आह. Then the festivity, the celebration of war that had begun amidst the army of the Pandavas is now being described by Sanjay. Tatah iti. Anyeshamapi रथस्थितत्वे सत्यपि कृष्ण अर्जुनयोः रथस्थितत्व इतिः तद् रथस्य अग्निदत्तत्वं त्रैलोक्य विजेतृत्वं महाप्रभवत्वं च व्यज्यते. Even though there were others stationed in their respective chariots, there is a mention of Krishna and Arjuna being situated in one particular chariot. This is because, as it is known from the Mahabharata itself, that particular chariot was gifted by Agni and it was capable of conquering the three worlds. And it had great power in it. So this fact is now being revealed here. Eidike Shri Krishna एवं धनंजय श्वेताश्व संयुक्त परमोत्कृष्ट रथे आरूढ़ होइए दिव्य शंख ध्वनि कुरिलेन. And on this side, Sri Krishna and Dhananjay, they were on a very excellent chariot that was yoked to white horses. And Sri Krishna and Dhananjaya, they blew their transcendental conscience, divine conscience, divya. In contrast with the conscience blown by Bhishma Dev, the conscience in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described as transcendental. The sounding of the transcendental conscience indicated that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jayastu Pandaputranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is always with persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. And whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna, as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conscience of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna, and this indicated that this chariot was capable of conquering all sides, wherever it was drawn over the three worlds. 15. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Paundam Dattmo Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrikodara. Panchajanyam Rishika Isha Devadattam Dhananjaya Paundram Dattmo Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrika Udaraha. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Poundra. Panchajanyam ityadi. Regarding Panchajanyam and so on. Panchajanya Adayaha, Krishna Adi Shankana Ahvaya. Panchajanya and the remaining four conch shells are the names of the conch shells held by Lord Krishna and the others. Atra Hrishikesha Shabdena Parameshwara Sahayatvam. Here, Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha. This itself indicates that the Pandavas were helped by the Supreme Lord himself. Panchajanya Adi Shabdaihi Prasiddha Ahvaya. ahvayanek divya shankhavatvam. By referring to their names as Panchajanya, it's pointed out that that particular site had a number of divine conch shells with them. See, on the Kaurava side, you don't come across mention of them having celestial or divine conch shells and so on. Raja, Bhimakarma, Dhananjaya, इत्येभिः युधिष्ठिर आदीनां राजसूय याजत्व हिडिंब आदि निहंतृत्व दिग्विजय आहृत अनंत धनत्वानि च व्यज्य पांडव सेनासु उत्कर्षः सूच्यते. Yudhishthir is referred to as Raja. Okay, 15, 16, 17, 18, I'll read together. Then it will become clear that Yudhishthir is referred to as Raja. Vrikodara, Bhima is referred to as Bhimakarma, the one who performs terrible activities. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya, the winner of wealth. So these expressions reveal that Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, they had performed extraordinary activities. Bhima had conducted the Rajasuya Yajna, and therefore he is referred to as a Raja, the shining one, the one who had done what kings do. So even though Yudhishthira was not yet coronated as a king, he is still referred to as a king. Vrikotara is referred to as Bhimakarma, a person who performed terrible activities. Terrible activities such as killing Hidimba and so on. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya, the winner of wealth. He actually went on a Digvijaya, on a victory tour, and he actually accumulated unlimited wealth in order for the Rajasuya Yajna to be made possible. So because these expressions are used, it is a clear indication of the exalted status of the Pandava army. Parasenasu tat abhavat apakarshah. Whereas on the other side, on the other army, the army of the Kauravas, you don't come across these divine conch shells, and you don't come across these descriptors. So we understand that they're far inferior. Up to 18. Yes. So let me read up to 18. 16 to 18. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthira Nakula Sahadevascha Sughosha Manipushpakau Kashyascha Parameshwasa Shikhandi cha Maharatha Drishtadhyamno Viratascha Satyakischaparaajitah Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashah Prithvipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Shankhandadho Pratak Pratak. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putraha Yudhishthiraha Nakulaha Sahadevaha cha Sughosha Manipushpakau Kashyaha cha Parama Ishwasaha Shikhandi cha Maharatha Drishtadhyamnaha Virataha cha Satyakihi cha Aparajitaha Drupadaha Draupadeyaha cha Sarvashaha Prithvipate Saubhadraha cha Mahabahu Shankhan Dadhmu Prathak Prathak. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sughosha and Manipushpaka, that great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadhyamna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty arm son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Kashyaha, okay. Kashyaha, Kashirajaha. In the verse beginning Kashyaha, Kashya refers to Kashiraja, the king of Kashi. Parameshwasa, Mahadhanurdhara, and he was a great archer. Parameshwasa indicates that. Chaparajitaha, Dhanushadiptaha. Chaparajitaha, uh, he takes it as a single word. It can be split into cha and aparajita, in which case it would mean one who had never been vanquished. But chaparajita can be taken together also, in which case it will mean chaparajita. The one who was shining because of his bow. Drupadaha iti. Prithvipate, he Dhritarashtra iti. Sanjay refers to Dhritarashtra as O Lord of the earth. That itself is an indication. Tava durmantrana udayaha kulakshaya lakshanaha anarthaha samagataha iti suchyate. A disaster characterized by the destruction of a whole dynasty brought about by evil counsel from your side has come about because of your evil instructions. A great disaster characterized by destruction of an entire dynasty has arrived. This is indicated here. Rishikesh, Panchajanya Shankha, Arjun, Devadatta Shankha Dwani Korilen. Rishikesh blew the conch, Panchajanya, Arjun, the conch, Devadatta. एवं भीमकर्मा भीमसेन पौंड्रना में महाशंख बाजाए and Bhimasen of terrible activities blew his great conch named Poundra. Kunti Putra Raja Yudhishthir Ananta Vijay. Kunti's son, King Yudhishthir, Nakul Sukhosh एवं सहदेव मणिपुष्पक नामक शंखध्वनि करिलेन. Yudhishthir, Nakula, and Sahadeva, they blew their conches, respectively named Anantavijaya, Suthosha, and Manipushpaka. Utkrishta Dhanodhari Kashiraj, Maharatha Shkhandi, Krishtadyumna, Virat, एवं अपराजित बा धनुष चाप द्वारा शोभित सात्यकी एवं हे पृथ्वीपते धृतराष्ट्र द्रुपद द्रौपदी पंचपुत्र एवं सुभद्रा पुत्र महाबाहो अभिमन्यु इहारा सकले पृथक पृथक शंखध्वनि करिलेन. The excellent archer Kashiraj, the Maharatha Shikhandi, Krishtadyumna, Virata, and the unconquered Satyaki. Satyaki was unconquered or who was shining because of his bow, as well as O Lord of the earth, Dhritarashtra, Drupada, Draupadi's 5 sons, and Subhadra's son, the mighty armed Abhimanyu. All of these warriors separately blew their respective conch shells. Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesh in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. The living entities are part and parcel of him, and therefore the senses of the living entities are also part and parcel of his senses. Impulsives cannot account for the senses of the living entities, and therefore they are always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entities, directs their senses. But he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity, and in the case of a pure devotee, it directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Hrishikesh. The Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Vasudeva because he appeared as a son of Vasudeva. His name is Devaki Nandana because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yashodanandana because he awarded his childhood pastimes to Yashoda at Vrindavan. His name is Parthasarthi because he worked as charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha because he gave direction to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth when it was required by the king to make expenditures for different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vrikodara because he could eat as voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks. Prabhupada in a lecture has commented on this. Bhima Karma Vrikodara. He would eat like a wolf, Vrika Udara. But he would also perform terrific work, Bhima Karma. So he said, if you eat a lot, you should also work a lot, such as killing the demon, Hidimba. So the particular types of conch shell blown by the different personalities on the side of the Pandavas, beginning with the lords, were all very encouraging to the fighting soldiers. On the other side, there were no such credits, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Director, nor that of the Goddess of Fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle, and that was the message announced by the sounds of the conch shells. Sanjay informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of the kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle, beginning with the grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world. All were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his sons. 19. Saghosho dhartarashtranam hridayani vyadharayat nabhascha prithivim chaivat tumulobhyanu nadayan sah ghosha dhartarashtranam hridayani vyadharayat nabha cha prithivim chaiva tumulaha abhyanu nadayan. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Sa iti Pandavaihi kritaha shankhan nadaha dhartarashtranam bhishma adinam sarvesham hridayani yad dharayat tad vidarana tulyam pidam ajanayat ityartha. The sound of the conch shells created by the Pandavas, by the blowing of the conch shells, it shattered the hearts of everyone who was on the side of Dhritarashtra, beginning with Bhishma. It shattered their hearts means it generated a pain that was equal to the shattering of their hearts. Tumulaha, atitivraha. And that sound was tumultuous. Very great, very intense. Abhyanu nadayan, pratidvanibhihi purayan. And it filled the land and the sky with the echoes of those sounds. Dhartarashtraihi kritahatu shankadinadaha tumulaha api tesham kinchidapi kshobham na ajanayat tatha anuptehe iti bodhyam. On the other hand, the sounds made by the conch shells and so on by the followers of Dhritarashtra, even though they were tumultuous, they never generated even a slight agitation on the part of the Pandavas, those who were following the Pandavas, because it is not stated. This must be understood. पेशको संख्य तुमुल शब्द धरातलो नभमंडल ध्वनित करिया भारत राष्ट्रगणे हृदय विदारित करिते लागिल. All of this tumultuous sound, the tumultuous sounds from these conch shells, they echoed through the land as well as the sky, and they began to shatter the hearts of the Dhartarashtras, the sons of Dhritarashtra. When Bhishma and the others on the side of Duryodhana blew their respective conch shells, there was no heartbreaking on the part of the Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned, but in this particular verse, it is mentioned that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the sounds vibrated by the Pandavas' army. This is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. 20. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तथा वाक्यम् इदमाहं महीपते. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनु उद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तथा वाक्यम् इदमाहं महीपते. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandav, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Evam dhartarashtraणाम युद्धे भीतिम प्रदर्श्य पांडवानां तु तत्र उत्साहमाह acha iti sarthakena. In this way, after revealing the fear for war in the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra, Sanjay now speaks about the enthusiasm of the Pandavas to engage in war. He speaks 1.5 verses. अथ रिपु शंखनाद कृत उत्सव भंग अनंतरम. And then means after having destroyed the enthusiasm on the part of the Dhartarashtras, the sons of the Dhritarashtra, by blowing their conch shell. व्यवस्थितां तद्भंग विरोधी युयुत्सया अवस्थितान् धार्तराष्ट्रान् भीष्म आदीन् कपिध्वजः अर्जुनः येन श्रीदाशरथेः अपि महान्तिकार्याणि पुरा साधितानि तेन महावीरेण ध्वजम् अधिष्ठता अनुमता अनुगृहीतः भयगन्धशून्यः इत्यर्थः. So, Arjuna wanted to see these persons on the side of Dhritarashtra, such as Bhishma, who were arrayed in battle. Specifically, when they were after all this sounds had destroyed their enthusiasm, then again they were enthusiastic for war. They were standing there. So at that time, Arjuna, he wanted to see them. And Arjuna is referred to as Kapidhvaja. Kapi means monkey, Dhvaja means flag. Kapidhvaja refers to Arjuna. And it means the one on whose flag there is a monkey. This is a reference to Hanuman. It was Hanuman who had executed in the past exalted activities. He performed great services for the son of Sri Dasharatha. He was that great hero, Hanuman, and he was presiding over the flag of Arjuna. He was blessing Arjuna. And therefore, Arjuna was absolutely free from fear. Bhayaganda Shunya means he was free from even the scent of fear. It's an idiomatic expression in Sanskrit. It means that he is absolutely fearless. Ityarthaha. He Mahipate, oh Lord of the land, Pravritte, Pravartamane, Rishikesham iti. So when the battle of arms was beginning, Rishikesham iti, Rishikesham, Sarvendriya Pravartakam Krishnam Tat idam Vakyam Vacha iti. Then Arjuna, he spoke the following words to Rishikesham, that is, Lord Krishna, who uh, activates everyone's senses, who impels everyone's senses. Sarveshwaraha Harihi Yesham Niyogyaha. When the Supreme Lord, Hari is himself uh, engaged by these Pandavas, Tesham, Tat Ekanta Bhaktanam Pandavanam Vijaye, Sandehagantha api na iti bhava. Then these Pandavas, who were his exclusive devotees, Ekanta Bhaktas. So that is absolutely not even the slightest doubt about their victory. This is the implication here. Hey Maharaj, O great king, Tatkale, Shastranikshepe Samudyata, Kapidhvaja Ratharudha Dhananjay, Dhritarashtra Jodhri Durga के युद्ध जोगे अवस्थित देखिया शरासन उत्तोलन पूर्वक श्री कृष्ण के एक कथा कहिलें. At the time when he was getting ready to shoot his weapons, his arrows, Dhananjay, standing on a chariot that had a flag that was marked with the symbol of the monkey Hanuman, he, when that Dhananjay, when he saw the warriors on the side of the Dhritarashtra in military formation for war, then he took his bow, he lifted his bow, and he spoke the following words to Sri Krishna. The battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by the direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Ram and Ravana, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle. In such auspicious conditions, arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, lay the signs of assured victory. 21 and 22. Okay, there's a question here.
Prabhu, regarding this story of Arjuna went to Rameshwaram and a monkey, Hanuma has come. Then there was argument that uh, so finally Arjuna uh, defeated by Hanuma. So he want to get suicide. Then Brahmana boy comes. So like that. Then when the Brahmana revealed his form as a Krishna, and he says that you don't do like this type of contests. He says to them.
So what is your question?
So question is then why that pastime has occurred. Lord himself is saying you don't do like these contests.
First of all, the Lord's intimate associates behave in this world in such a manner that we can learn lessons from them. Like this, you can ask hundreds of questions. You can even ask why Arjuna became bewildered right now. It is to teach the world. By the way, that pastime I have not come across in any scripture so far.
No, it is written here in the Gita-Bhusana.
Where?
In the Gita-Bhusana
Gita-Bhusana,
it
it
is
says that
written.
Hanuman came and stepped and agreed to
No,
be on his flag.
no, the whole thing is written here. In this.
Where? Nothing is here.
It is written
The
in the
common
footnotes of Bhanu Maharaj's translation,
What
not
can
in
I
the
do?
Gita-Bhusana itself.
What I do about that? Baladevi Devotion is not writing it now. Dharmatma Prabhu, you had something to say.
The same thing that I told. It is by Bhanu Maharaj, not by Baldev Vidyabhushan.
Haribol, Prabhus, you people are going to become teachers of Shastra. Please open your eyes. Please be careful about everything that you think and speak and notice. If whether the Acharya is saying it or somebody else is saying it as a footnote or end note or an introduction or these things are very, very important. It might be real, it may not be real, whatever it is. If it is stated, it is stated. If it's not stated, it is not stated. You have to be very, very careful about all these things. If you are going to be Bhajanandi sitting somewhere and doing your own thing, I don't care. But if you're trying to save the world and all that, then you should know everything. Should be very, very clear. You should know about these techniques very clearly. Gita-Bhusana means Baladev Vidyabhushan's writing. Okay. 21 and 22. Arjuna was सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युत यावदेतान् निरीक्ष्येऽहं योद्धुकामान् अवस्थितान् कैर्मया सह योद्धव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. 21, 22, 23 form a cluster. So I'll read 23 also. 23. योच्यमानान् अवेक्षेऽहं य एतेऽत्र समागताः धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धेर् युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Arjuna Vakyamaha. Here is Arjuna's statement. Sanjay repeats Arjuna's words. Senayoho iti. Beginning with Senayoho. He Achyuta iti. 1 minute. Okay. He Achyuta iti स्वभाव सिद्धात् भक्त वात्सल्यात् पारमैश्वर्यात् च न च्यवसे स्म इति तेन तेन च नियंत्रितः भक्तस्य मे वाक्यात् तत्र रथं स्थितं कुरु निर्भयं तत्र रथस्थापने फलमाह यावदिति. He refers to Lord Krishna as Achyutam. O Achyutam, O infallible one. The implication is this: You never, Achyuta means fallen. Achyuta means one who is not fallen. So Achyuta literally means one who does not fall down. So Baladev Vidya-Bhusana explains, you don't fall, you have never fallen from your nature, your intrinsic nature of Bhakta Vatsalya, affection for your devotees, and from your supreme status, the status of you being the Parameshwara, the Supreme Lord. And this chariot. So, in that way, being controlled by your nature on the basis of my statements, I, a devotee of yours, please place the chariot in the midst of both the armies. That is understood. And the result, so then please place the chariot without any, don't hesitate to place it. Nirvayam tatra rathasthapane phalamaha yavaditi. Please keep it as long as I inspect the armies. So this is the fearless consequence, fearless result, because of which he wants him to, that he wants to attain by having Lord Krishna place that chariot. Yodhu kaman natu saha asmabi santim chikirsham. And these people that I want to see, they have a desire for war. They do not have a desire to work out a truce with us. Avasthitan. Natu bhitya prachalitan. They're all standing here. Out of fear, they have not run away. Nanu tvam yodha. Natu yuddha prekshakaha. Tatha tad darshanena kim. But you are a warrior. You are not a spectator of the war. What is, no, why do you want to see? Anticipating that Lord Krishna might ask this question, he says, Tatraha kaihi. With whom? Asmin bandhunam eva mithaha rana udyoge. Kaihi bandhubhi saha mama yuddham bhavi. Iti etad jnanaya eva madhye ratasthapanam. Iti. This is a trial of arms. This is the embarking of a war amongst relatives. Relatives amongst fighting amongst each other. So I want to know with which relatives my battle is about to take place. To know, in order to specifically to know this, I want you to place the chariot between both the armies. Nanu bandhutvad ete sandhimmeva vidhasyanti iti chet. Because they are relatives, they are going to make an arrangement for a truce. If Lord Krishna were to say that, Arjuna says, Tatraha yotyamanan iti, natu sandhim vidhasyata. No. They have no desire for peace. They want to fight. They have no plans to arrange for truce. Avekshi, pratyami. I would like to see, I would like to inspect. Durbuddhe buddhyaha swajivana upaya anabhidyasya yuddhe natu durbuddhi apanayane. And these are all the well-wishers, the foolish These are well-wishers of the foolish Duryodhana. Foolish Duryodhana. So the idea is that uh, he is not an intelligent person. He does not know how to survive in life. And they want to help him in setting up a war. They are not his well-wishers to remove his misconceptions. Ataha mat yuddha pratiyogi nirikshanam yuktam iti. So it is appropriate that I see my opponents in this war with me. Arjun কইলেন, Arjuna said, Hey Achyuta, O Lord Achyuta, যতক্ষণ আমি যুদ্ধ কামনায় অবস্থিত সেনাগণের মধ্যে এই রণসমুদ্যমে কাহার সহিত সংগ্রাম করিব, নিরীক্ষণ এবং দুর্যোধনের প্রিয় কামনায় যুদ্ধ বাসনায় এই স্থানে সমাগত ব্যক্তিগণকে অবলোকন করি, ততক্ষণ উভয় পক্ষীয় সেনার মধ্যস্থলে রথ স্থাপন কর। As long as I see who are these people with whom I should engage in this war, in this attempt at a war. As long as I see all of these armies, they arrange themselves into armies in order to fight. As long as I get to see all these personalities who have assembled in this place with the desire to fight, with the desire to please Duryodhana, please station this chariot amidst both the armies of both sides. 21, 22, 23. Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Rishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. So he never fails in his affection for his pure devotees. And he never falls from his status of being the infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp. He wanted to steal, take away the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Birds of the same feather flock together. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory because Krishna was sitting by his side. So he wanted to make a proper estimate. We find in Ramayana also, when Hanuman goes to Lanka, he goes and examines Lanka. And at that time, he is also calculating, okay, all of these things will need to be done in order to destroy the city and so on. He uses his intelligence, not that because Ramchandra is there, therefore I don't need to think. Same way Arjuna also. Even though Lord Krishna is there, he has to do his duty of making an estimate of the strength which he had to face. 24 and 25 are together. 24. Sanjaya Vacha. Sanjaya Vacha. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. Senayor Madhye Sthapitva Rathottamam. That's a half sentence. Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. 25. Bhishma Dronam Pramukhataha Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuruniti. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Gurus assembled here. There's only 1 minute more, but I won't be able to cover this, so we'll stop with this. Fine. We'll resume from where? From 24 to 25 commentary. Okay. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo.